Hello, hello, you talented stars and starlets. It's your stage mom. Here's Chantele Francis. And if this is your first time on my channel, then welcome. Please subscribe right down below. So today is Motivation Monday, and I thought that as we are all artists and performers and creatives in the entertainment industry, I feel as though it would be perfect for us to talk a little bit about rejection. So rejection is something that comes up with anybody that is doing something, that is working towards something, that is presenting their work or their art to other people for a response. Sometimes it is to get a job, sometimes it's to get a promotion, sometimes it's to get a grant, sometimes it's to get approval. Whatever it is, we present ourselves and our work to others for a yes or no, a pass or fail, whatnot. And so we have to actually, as artists, face rejection so many times. And what ends up happening sometimes is, because it's an ongoing thing, we start feeling as though this rejection is actually a reflection of our soul and our heart as people. And that's where things get a little bit misconstrued. We live in a society, in a world where it's always two sides. There's good, there's bad, there's reward, there's punishment. And I feel as though we take on rejection as a punishment for bad work, or you did not do a good job. And I feel as though I wanted this video to reframe how we think about rejection in order to see that it's actually paving the way for our biggest successes. Now, sometimes if you get a rejection, it could just simply be that they have something exactly like what you have to offer, or very similar to what you have to offer, and it's just not in alignment for what they are looking for at that moment. It's just not a fit. It's just not part of the puzzle that they are putting together. Now, it doesn't mean that your puzzle piece isn't an amazing puzzle piece, but it's just not potentially the right fit for that particular puzzle. And so with our own unique and individuality, we have to remember that what we offer is special. And because it doesn't fit in every single other person's puzzle, does not make our puzzle piece any less valuable, doesn't make what we have to offer be any less amazing. And we tend to negative self-talk because we want to punish ourselves because the rejection says bad. So let's negative self-talk, let's criticize what we've done, let's attack our own heart of that we are not good enough, that we aren't worthy. All this comes into play when really it just wasn't a right fit for somebody else's taste or puzzle, whatever. My puzzle analogy will continue along that lane. So I want to invite us to look at rejection. I'm going to keep on saying rejection in quotes, as an opportunity to redirect and say, hey, how can I do better? What have I done here? Is there something that I could shift and change to make the next time be better? Or maybe it's time to treat ourselves as we would treat our best friend if they were in a situation where they were rejected. You would always, as a best friend, point out all the amazing qualities that your best friend has. So even if we're saying that you get rejected on a date, you go on a first date and the other person decides that they do not want to go on another date with you. Yes, bruises the ego potentially, and you may feel rejected. But if you talk to your best friend, I bet you 100% they'll say, his loss or their loss, you're amazing, you have this to offer, this to offer, this to offer, you just weren't a right fit for them, they, you're not in the same alignment, you're not on the same path, it wasn't a right fit. And so they would talk you up and tell you all the amazing things that are great about you and remind you that because there was a rejection is not a rejection of you. It was just their own personal taste that whatever you were having to offer did not line up with. And so I would love for all of us artists to look at every time that we have some sort of rejection and give ourselves a little round of applause, a little pat on the back for actually getting up and doing something. In order to be rejected, you have to put yourself out there. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to express a part of yourself openly and fully. And that is amazing. There are billions of people in the world that will not even put themselves in the situation where they could face any sort of rejection. They will not stand up and speak in front of a group of people. They will not, audition. They will not write their script. They will not do any of these things because of the fear of rejection is so strong. So give yourself a pat on the back for just doing anything. People don't do anything. So just be happy and grateful that you are able to do that. You're able to get up every day and do things that you love and present it in front of other people. That in itself is an amazing feat. So also I would love for you to have compassion for yourself as you would have compassion for your best friends, and take it as an opportunity to look at all your wins in that situation. Like you could have made new connections. Who knows who you're meeting in putting yourself out there. You could meet a whole slew of people that could be great potentials for it down the road. They might remember your work that wasn't right for them in this particular situation, but down the road, they might remember how amazing you were and have you in mind for something else that is more fitting for what they're working on. So you could also, as I said, be reminded that you completed something, you did something, that it's amazing. You overcame fear. Fear is so crippling to so many people. And I've said in many videos that on the other side of fear is all your greatest dreams and desires manifest. And you overcame fear here. And to think that because it wasn't the right time, to think that that's not even a worthy journey or a worthy step I think is detrimental to the work, we'll say, as an artist, because you need to keep on taking those steps and be willing to cross that fear, to be willing to step on the other side. And this rejection is just a redirection. It's just shaping you or pushing you towards something that is more fitting and more in alignment with what you are capable of and what your soul wants to express. So if you've heard so many stories about amazing people that were rejected. I believe there's a story about Oprah even, who was rejected by, I think, a news station that she was working on, and them telling them that she'll never make it as a newscaster or an on-air personality or whatever. It was some sort of rejection that she got. And if she had allowed that rejection to cripple her and not allow it to redirect her and shift her motivation and shift how she was going to operate and move forward and give her that fuel and that drive, where would she be right now? Who knows? And so that rejection ends up being part of her fuel and part of her motivation. Hey, even if it's just to prove somebody wrong, I'll take that fuel any day. I like take whatever you can and use it. Use people's rejection as your magic fuel to motivate you to redirect and repurpose what you are offering, if that's the case. Repackage it and resell it to somebody else who is in alignment with what you are offering. Also, you've learned, when there's some sort of rejection, you've learned a lot of new lessons. If you are putting together a proposal or a grant or a media kit, like maybe you didn't know how to do these things before. Maybe you didn't know what was required to make a pitch for a television series. Maybe you didn't know what was required to make a media pitch to a company to be a sponsor on Instagram. Maybe you didn't know any of these things before. So think about all the valuable things that you have learned in presenting your ideas and presenting your value and your your heart and your vision, like you've learned a lot just to even put yourself in front of people. You've made that effort, and that is something that's a huge win. And that's a tool that you can develop and get better and better and better at. My dad, when I was younger, he's always been in sales, and he always was like, you know, you got to knock on 10 doors to get one yes. And so I always kind of think about that, is that even if I get a no, I kind of just divide everything into like, you know, it's a tenth of a yes. And so every time I knock on a door, I know that I'm closer to a yes. And so when I have rejection happen, I know that it's closer to a yes. I just need to knock on 9 more doors. And maybe that is the 9th door, and my next door is a yes. For all of us actors out there, I believe there's a story about Kelsey Grammer that was really upset that I think they went on like 1,000 pilot auditions, and some of them, you know, he shot, some of them he didn't, whatever. Some of them were almost green light, but then they fell through, like a whole big, you know, rigmarole. And he was actually at the brink where he couldn't take the rejection anymore, and he wanted to give up. I feel like I'm mixing 2 stories up. Well, I'll tell you the 2 people that I'm mixing the stories up, and you'll get the gist. And then after, on his, say, 1001 audition, he got cheers. And I feel like there's a similar story with George Clooney. With his 1001 audition, he got ER. And so if they didn't go on that 1001 audition, where would they be right now? So all of these rejections is kind of also telling you that you're on the right path, that you are working towards something, and that it could just be a redirection, redirecting you to the most in line opportunity that is going to be a match with what you want to express and your soul's journey. So I don't know. If I'm getting rejected now, I'm just going to continue to look at it like that's a tenth of a yes. That's a tenth of a yes. That's a tenth of a yes. So say it with me. It's a tenth of a yes. What else? One thing you could also do with whenever you get rejected is treat yourself to something nice. As I've been saying, you know, having compassion for yourself, treating yourself like a best friend, like take yourself out for a nice dinner or lunch, and sit at the bar and have a glass of wine and do something nice for yourself to say you did a good job, like you did well. It just didn't work out that particular time. Allowing it to defeat you and allowing you to to affect your self-worth. Your worthiness is not in question here just because somebody doesn't particularly like that taste. I don't think that, what do I not enjoy? I don't love tomatoes. I don't think tomatoes are really that upset with me that I don't love tomatoes. A lot of people love tomatoes, and there's tomatoes in a lot of things. And sometimes I actually do like tomatoes. I like tomato sauce. I like ketchup. I like cooked tomatoes. I just don't love some tomatoes. And if you just kind of think about yourself just being a fruit that some people like and some people don't like, but you know, you just have to get yourself in a bunch of taste buds, and maybe you're going to be a perfect match for someone that absolutely loves the fruit. Tomatoes are fruit. The fruit that you are. Someone else is going to love it just because somebody doesn't have a particular palate for your flavor. So just remember that reflection does not reflect you as a person. It reflects you as a person, how you deal with rejection and how you allow it to affect you as a person. But what is happening in that moment has nothing to do with you. And I quoted today on Instagram that rejection is the sand in the oyster, the irritant that ultimately produces a pearl. And that quote I found was from Burke Wilkinson. And I feel like that's like a perfect way to look at rejection is it's shaping and guiding you to mold and morph what you already are offering into an even better offer. So when the opportunity meets, as we know, luck is opportunity meeting preparation. So you'll be even more prepared, and it'll look like you got your lucky break because everything was in alignment. So look at rejection as your friend. Find the silver lining, find the wins, treat yourself as you would treat your best friend, with compassion, and love yourself, be kind to yourself, and know that putting yourself out there, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, are one of the key lessons that are really important when you face any sort of rejection. So I really hope that this video has given you some motivation. It is Motivation Monday. I hope that you subscribe down below. If you like this video, please hit that like button so I know to keep on producing videos in alignment with this, and ring that bell so every day I will show up in your inbox with a new video. I hope you are doing very, very, very well, and of course I'll see you in the spotlight. Take care.